Okay, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the presentation. Thank you so much for being here. Howdy. Well, it's not really a presentation. It's just a chill out night. It's a chill out night, guys. It's a chill out night. Happy Saturday to you, wherever you are in this beautiful, beautiful world. And did you give a Catholic bishop? If not, which one? Huh? Okay, folks, welcome to the presentation. First of all, if you want to go to my websites, if you want to know more about who I am and why I'm here, you can go to bishopjameslong.com. bishopjameslong.com. If you want to know more about the church's websites, that's simple too. It's usocc.org. All right, usocc.org. And just head on over there, guys. You can check the site out, check our community out. By the way, I want to remind everybody, people say, well, you do too much of that paranormal stuff. And well, obviously you don't know me. We don't. We actually devote one day a week to the paranormal. And that's on Friday. That's it. That's what we do. Friday night paranormal show. The rest of the time, we're actually doing Bible study on Sunday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Thank you. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Monday through Friday, we have also night prayer. And so we actually do more theology than we do demonology. Well, paranormal, I should say. Thank you, guys. So there we go. I want to remind, please, so go join us. We would love to have you guys there tomorrow. Everybody's invited to Bible study. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And by the way, you don't have to worry about anything. You can just go to the church's website, usocc.org. Thank you, guys. And you can click on the Bible study link. And just simply scroll down to where it says tomorrow's date. Thank you. And you can check out the readings for tomorrow. And with you, Eddie. And so, first of all, for those of you on TikTok, welcome. Now, also, I run the show on two different computers. So for those of you who are new, I run the show here for Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all this other stuff. And then over here, I run the show with you guys on TikTok. So if you offer gifts to me during the live, if I don't say thank you, I apologize. It's not because I'm being rude. It's because I'm looking at the computer and sometimes I don't see it. Okay? So thank you in advance. Our moderators are always very, very kind. They always try to, always thank you for the gifts, but sometimes I just don't see them. Well, thank you there. Okay, so that is the deal. By the way, is Shirley Hurt? Thank you, Michelle. Is Shirley Hertz here today? I don't know. I can't remember if Shirley joins us on. I thought TikTok. Shirley does. Oh, Shirley. I want to thank you so much. I received your packages in the mail. Guys, for those of you who don't know, so Monday through Friday, we have night prayer. And I always pray with a rosary during our prayer petitions. And then at the very end, those who are on TikTok, we always, give one of the rosaries away. Just as a way of saying thank you. I wish I could do it to Facebook, YouTube. I maybe one day I can. Maybe we could try it. Maybe that's something that we should consider too, because there are people who are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all that other stuff. So what we always do is we always, during the prayer petitions, I usually pray with a rosary for the petitions, for intercessory prayers. And then we give that away just as a way of me saying thank you, to the people. Anyway, Shirley sent me a bunch of beautiful rosaries. Beautiful, thank you. Beautiful rosaries. And I am really, really grateful. They're really, really pretty. They came in a little bit. And she also sent us cards. So about how to pray the rosary. Now, I usually already include that, but I love the little cards. So Shirley, that was very, very kind. That was very kind of you. And I thank you. So anyway, I think it would be good, maybe if, actually we do that tomorrow. Andrea, sorry, don't know you, can't see your name. Okay. Also, don't forget tomorrow night. So thank you, Shirley. Thank you. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Mass. So I have Mass here at the small chapel, my little private chapel here. You guys can't see it on TikTok, but there's the altar over there. But we always have it at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's only on TikTok because it's too complicated to try to run it on all the formats. I just don't want to, it's just too much. So that's at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have Mass on air. The chat is turned off because no one should be in chat anyway. But if you want to join us, that's tomorrow. And there we go. Rosaries. Oh, good, Angela. Yeah. So anyway, please consider joining us if you would like. We would love to have you. So again, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Mass. And then, of course, we have Bible study tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to be with you, a pretty good length of time tomorrow. Now, here's the dilly. Of course, it's the weekend. And you know what that means. It seems like every single weekend, what happens? They start screaming tornadoes again. Last week, they did the same thing. And the week before that, they did the same thing. I'm so sick. Every thunderstorm now, tornado, every single time. So tomorrow night may be a little dicey. We just don't know. We have to kind of play it by ear. The weather people keep saying, the meteorologist says that if the sun comes out, around noon or so, from noon to 3, it's going to destabilize the air, which could bring in supercells, and that means tornadoes. So hopefully it'll stay cloudy all day long, and we won't have to worry about a thing. We're going to have thunderstorms no matter what, so I might lose electricity, but every weekend. We just can't have storms anymore. It's all the time. So anyway, I want to give you guys a heads up on that. We just had to play that one by ear. So let's, of course, bring in our dear friend. Hello. Yeah. Of course, this is for both Judy Ann and Miss Wilma's not here with us. She's still sick. And so, but Judy Ann is still here with us. And we appreciate her rocking and rolling and being here. So hello there, Judy Ann.
Well, howdy. I actually have a coffee mug that says, yes, I was raised in a barn.
See, I knew it. Mm-hmm. She was raised in a barn. Yeah, we got to get Miss Wilma. We got to kind of like, come on, Miss Wilma. Come on, snap out of it. Let's go.
Yeah, she needs to get back in the saddle.
She needs to get back in the saddle. Now, what it is, she's flirting with all the doctors. That's what it is.
It's gone from the produce manager now to probably the head physician on her floor.
No question about it. No question. As a matter of fact, when Miss Wilma was at the hospital last weekend, she kept going on and on and on about this doctor that looked like Donny Osmond's son. And let me tell you, she just went. I think that's why she was really depressed when they let her go home, because she couldn't have Donny Osmond's son, the doctor, look after her. That's the truth.
I know she's in that Louisville hospital. I heard there was some inappropriate pinching going on there. That must have been Miss Wilma.
Yes, Miss Wilma is naughty. Yeah, she's
she is.
But anyway, hopefully she'll be back with us. She's had this stuff for a long time. It's like, come on.
I think she just enjoys being waited on by all those cute
by the
orderlies.
Doctors. That's exactly it. See,
that's right. Especially that guy that brings her Jello.
Oh, yeah, Miss Wilma. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're watching, Miss Wilma. We've got you figured all out. And we know darn tootin' that's exactly why you go to the hospital. Hey, she's taking one for the team. She's taking one for the team.
That's right. She is not fooling us.
No, she's not fooling. But she's taking one for the team. So hopefully, she flirts and, never know. Maybe she'll meet a doctor. I always tell her, take one for the team, Miss Wilma. And then she says, well, my doctor, like last year, she was sick. And she's like, what? I said, Wilma, take one for the team. Well, my doctor's not that attractive. Wilma, just take one for the team. Just take him out. You know, let him buy you a TV dinner. Seriously.
Wow.
It's one that's true. The Walmart, I cannot believe the Walmart twins. They're probably like in the 60s or 70s, but that's what they do. They
TV dinner. I thought we were
Yes.
like Hot Pockets or something.
No,
right?
TV dinner, and it's the banquet TV, the 99-cent banquet TV. But that's what they do.
Oh.
They drive around in their
Wait a
Walmart
minute.
scooters. Yeah, they drive around their Walmart scooters. They hang out in the produce section, and when a woman comes, they are, oh, hey, honey, you want to come over our house? We'll buy you a TV dinner. It's like, freak.
She needs to demand at least a hungry man.
A hungry man, yeah.
There you go.
So how have you been doing today?
I'm doing great. It's really pretty here. You know what I just realized? We now have 42 wolf packs in our state, primarily in my area. There are some in the southeastern regions, but we have probably between 250 and 300 wolves here now. So I may be able to photograph closer to home as opposed to going to Yellowstone. Yeah,
Wow.
many of them are within maybe 70 miles of me. So
That is very, very cool. That is
Isn't that
very, very
neat?
cool. And I tell you what, we're going to try to leave the chat on TikTok. Just be kind so that we can leave the chat on. Everybody, just be nice. And if you don't like us, just scroll on. So let's try to keep the chat on. But if it starts getting nasty or mean, then we'll turn the chat on subscriber only. Because people,
I wish they would behave.
yeah, just leave people alone. Just leave people alone. But they just,
Exactly.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
That wolves were completely wiped out at about 1920 in the
That's
state.
true.
So they
I've
have
heard
been-
this.
Isn't that something they're making a comeback?
Thank God. I mean, because
Yes.
here's the deal. If you get rid, look, you can't. There has to be, unfortunately, a predator-prey relationship, and for the ecosystem, if you get rid, just like sharks, you know, when the movie Jaws came out, sharks were unfortunately they were unalived so much that they were endangered. And that is a very dangerous thing to do because then you mess up the entire ecosystem. And that's Jacob, you can't be Jacob. See, once again, Jacob cannot be just a polite person.
Jacob was absolutely vulgar. I'm the one that got him, even though I'm helping with the show. So, we may have to go with shutting it down. I don't know.
I don't want to do that because then they come over to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and then I have to stop the entire show, open up all these Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and this causes a great deal of frustration. So I don't want to do that because every time I do that, then they flood Facebook, then I have to open up, and then no. It's just a pain. It's just a pain. I did see did you see the movie The Gray with Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson, yes.
That's a phenomenal movie.
That scared me. Whew.
Yeah.
And then there was The Revenant too with Leonardo DiCaprio.
That was really, really a fantastic movie. That was a fantastic movie.
The Edge with
Anthony
Baldwin
Hopkins.
and Hopkins. Oh, I think that was my favorite.
That was a tremendous movie. I mean, really but see, I like movies where as far as scary things, where scary things happen at night, where people have to go into their homes and then at night scary things happen. Like, for example, there is a scary show. It's definitely adult oriented. I'm trying to think of my brain just went, let's see what was it?
Look it up.
I'm trying. I think it's called They. Oh no, it's called From. There it is. From. It's a TV series, 2022. It is adult oriented, 1,000,000%. So I'm just letting you guys know that right now. But it's unravel the mystery of a city in a middle USA that imprisons everyone who enters. As the residents struggle to maintain a sense of normality and seek a way out, they must also survive the threats of the surrounding forest. This is a really great show. It's called From, and this is the type of show that I love because at night, the monsters come out at night and everybody is huddled, in their safe places, in the buildings. It's a really, really interesting show. So if you love scary television shows or scary movies, It's called From.
Yeah, you know how much I love scary stuff.
Oh, well, Trish, that's terrible. Why would someone steal your rosary? Trish is saying, Bishop, I'm so heartbroken. Someone stole my rosary. Why would someone steal a rosary? Are people that twisted that they're stealing rosaries now?
They will steal anything, it seems.
Wow, you know what? That's insane. I mean,
Well,
wow.
Yeah, they did that to my sister too, remember?
Steal a rosary?
I ripped open the package of the contents that you sent, remember?
Oh, yeah.
She didn't even get it. The envelope was just sliced open, so.
That is insane. I don't know what in the world. I mean, really, it's like, I don't know. That's just nuts. So what do you have on your mind? Do you have any articles you want to talk about, or what do you want to discuss?
You know, I was wondering, I know the interest of our audience is very high when it comes to paranormal. So I'm going to cater to that tonight because I have some questions that I have in my mind.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if you would indulge me here, if I could ask you a few questions. May I do that, sir?
Yeah. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, normally what we do, we're going to just chat. Normally, we just have a good time. But tonight we're just going to chill for a little bit. And then usually after, probably around 9:15, about an hour from now, then we close out everybody. We stay on TikTok. We bring the moderators up. And then this is the only time of the week that we actually bring you guys up on the screen to chat with us. So that's the only time that we do that. Now, we're not interested in battling and all that nonsense. We don't do that. I don't do that here.
We don't do politics at all.
Well, I'm talking about battling like the other creators come on and you look on the screen and you say, come on, give me more gifts. And there's competition. I don't understand that, but nonetheless.
We don't do that. Well, last time I canvassed our wonderful following here, they loved the idea of some of these paranormal questions. So that's what I'm going to do again, if everybody's on board with that.
All right. What you got?
You are, Your Grace.
What you got?
I have maybe 4 of these. When you first began performing exorcisms, and this is in your early experience, when you've maybe done just a few, what surprised you the most about demons that you were not expecting?
How manipulative they are.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. How manipulative. And
Oh
just
my goodness.
I think the complete total lack of empathy. Zero. I mean, it's predatorial. I mean, it is predatorial through and through. There is no compassion in the eyes of a possessed. There's no compassion. There's no empathy. It is total predatorial.
Wow. Well, that's it. And yet, do you know what I found today online? There are people who are advising others how to recruit demons and how to make friends with them and have them as your advisor.
Stupid. See,
and
And go ahead.
No, that's it.
See, this goes back to the Lesser Key of Solomon. The belief that you can summon demons and they can be your friends or they could do your bidding and this kind of stuff. If you do that kind of stuff, then you don't realize the demons have already beaten you. Because number one, they're not going to be your friend. They don't want to be your friend. There's nothing about you that they want or need. They just want complete and total destruction and desecration of the living temple of the Holy Spirit which we are created. So anybody who thinks that you're going to be a best friend with a demon, you don't realize that demons have already beaten you. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
There was a man on there pleading, please, I need a demon now. Please help me. How do I get them? And what do I offer them? This is true. I saw it.
I've seen this. I've seen people do incubus and succubus and an extreme desire. And what happens inevitably with those people is it's answered, but it's answered in the opportune time. When, like the wife or husband leaves them, or they lose their job, or something of this nature, and at a very vulnerable state. Yeah, it's stupid.
So let's say somebody was doing this, and then they had a change of heart, and they get married, and they're happy, and then those demons would decide to attack.
That's right. They gave the invitation
and ruin their life. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
See,
Well,
this is what happens when people, in their teenage years or at the age, past the age of reason, do things that they shouldn't do. They completely forget about what they did, whether it be um, playing with the Ouija boards or anything like that they should not have done. And then, 20 years later, they completely forgot about it. But the demons haven't
so
completely forgotten and not forgotten at
so
all.
okay, that's just what I was going to say. So, in other words, you may forget that you invited them, but the demons never do forget that.
Of course
Correct?
not. No, because the invitation is there. The demons are opportunists. They will wait. So for those of you who don't know, so my name is, there are a lot of new people coming in. So I'm Bishop James Long. I'm the presiding Archbishop for the United States Old Catholic Church. I'm also an exorcist. I performed 33 exorcisms on people who are truly possessed. I've done the Ghost Adventure shows and the Eli Roth shows and all that stuff. And so I've been teaching now for 25 years, teaching the paranormal community about the dangers of paranormal investigating and staying away from demonic cases, unless you are truly understanding, you know what you're getting into. And for those of you, again, who don't know, I don't get paid as clergy. I don't get paid as a bishop. The church doesn't pay me a penny. I don't charge for my ministry either. So when someone needs help, I haven't charged ever. And so I go to their home. For 20 years, I've been doing this by myself. And it's just recently that I've had people like, Judy Ann on here who helps sometimes even get to a person's home. So I've been doing this all by myself. And yeah, it's all great and all, Bishop Long, that's wonderful. But yeah, I also put $15,000 on my credit card to get to people's home to help them for free. So the reason is I tell you this is because I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying any of that stuff. I'm trying to tell you there's no ulterior motive here. I'm telling you what I've seen and what I've experienced. And, people say, well, there's no way you've been doing this for 25. I'm in my 50s. So yes, I've been doing this for quite some time now, 25 years. And my job, I'm very passionate about teaching people the dangers of investigating and taking on demonic cases.
Yes. For anyone who's asking, he is the real deal, and he is a beautiful, wonderful soul.
Thank you. And
no question about it.
And you got to understand, guys, I have been vetted by, History Channel, National Geographic, Travel Channel, HBO Max, pretty much all the major networks, because I've been on pretty much all the shows on the networks teaching about demonology for the past 25 years. So they've all vetted me. They've all found out what is your education and who trained, all that stuff. I've had to do all that, which is fine. I have no problem letting people know I have a doctorate and I have 3 master degrees. I have a doctorate in ministry and 3 masters. Studied for the Roman Catholic priesthood for 6 years, received my minor orders. So, but this is what I do. I'm very passionate about this topic, and I want to teach people about the dangers. And so
I just put the link up for everyone who's interested. Bishop Long's classes are free on angelology and demonology.
Yep.
So I put the link up there in the chat. If anybody's interested, they are free.
Yep. So, yep. Well, thank you, Michael. So yeah, you can learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. They're very detailed courses. You learn at your own pace. Education is important. That truly is. It's important because, without, I can have all the information and not share it, and that is stupid. There's no legacy there. So my legacy that I want to leave behind is someone who is willing and had such a deep desire to teach as much as I could, as much as I can about this topic, and help people, who are unfortunately in a situation where they have a demonic infestation or, God forbid, possession. So Yahweh is God.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And in case anybody hasn't seen it, I also put up a link of the Gates of Hell documentary that Bishop Long did. That's very interesting. So I'll move on to the next question then, Your Grace. And that is, I have to scroll back down. I have my links set. So following on the heels of the first question, in your more recent exorcisms, like the last ones that you've done, has anything caught you by surprise or taught you something new? Or are demons, they remain pretty boilerplate in your experience?
Well, the parlor tricks are different depending on the situation. Every situation is different. So you can have a form of levitation in some cases. You can have the eyes going black in others, contortion of the face, screaming. Many times it's it seems like quite often, most of them, there's some form of screaming and trying to disorient you. That happens quite in the majority of cases. That's why in the rite, there's a part where you have to silence the voice. Oh, HMS, you can't behave like a normal human being. So there you have to silence the voice because it will try to disorient you. And so that's pretty consistent. But no matter what it is, there's always parlor tricks. And it's interesting because one thing that I have found that is absolutely in every case, is, and I've talked about this before, this is the rosary that I use during an exorcism. Every single time that I bring this rosary out, so this is the rosary that I use during the exorcisms. Every single time that I bring this out, that is when I get the most reaction, the most violent reaction, every single time. And this is a Benedictine rosary. So I'm very devoted to the Blessed Mother. And that seems to be consistent on every single.
Can I ask you something about that? Is that as they are retreating from you, or are they just like throwing a tantrum because they know they're defeated?
Well, yeah, this is a sacramental of the church. This is a blessed item. And obviously the Blessed Mother crushing the head of the serpent.
Mm.
And so they know that the end is going to come. I mean, it's inevitable. And there is such an aversion, an extreme aversion to the rosary, extreme aversion. So there we go.
Hmm.
And that's my Benedictine rosary.
I love that rosary.
Listen to this one. I want to share this one. See what you think about this. Do you have more questions, or you want to go to the next question?
Well, I do have another question, but I think, maybe we can do your stories. Maybe they're getting bored with this. I don't know.
I don't know. Are you guys getting bored with it?
They don't seem to be. They kind of like this topic.
All right. Well, what's your other question?
Well, they said no, they're not getting bored. Okay, so you know that I'm scared of this stuff, but because of my partnership with you and the support of you,
mm-hmm.
getting you to places, helping to defeat the demons, and I'm kind of scared to ask this, am I more so than the average person a more prized target because I'm somehow elevated as a greater threat to them?
We're all prize targets because we're created in God's image, but you're actively involved in this ministry by helping me get to people's homes. And so because of that, you need to be fully aware, as we've spoken about, that there are consequences for getting involved in this ministry.
So I'm inadvertently provoking just because I'm on God's side. We are all. So until you can get professional help, let's just say somebody like me, if I was attacked, I would never do something like grab my holy water and my rosary and Bible and say, okay, yeah, just go ahead and try. You don't do that because that's an invitation, is it not?
Well, you absolutely can pray, and you should always pray. So I would never tell anyone not to pray. Always, without no ifs, ands, or buts, always pray. So if you ever feel like you are being attacked or pressed, thank you, Lynn. If you're being attacked or pressed, always St. Michael prayer, Psalm 91, Psalm 23, the Our Father, Hail Mary, pray the Rosary. There's no question that you should participate in prayer, actively participate in prayer. But there's a difference between participating in prayer and trying to fight off evil that you feel that is oppressing you versus you going out to a location, knowing that it has demonic infestation. And you're saying, come on, I dare you to do something. If anybody's here, do something. Well, now that's invitation. So there's a big difference between, okay, I'm going to pray and I'm going to ask God and my guardian angel of St. Michael. I'm going to ask all of the heavenly angels to help and protect me because you feel like you're being oppressed. Absolutely, you should. No question. We all should do this. But we also should never do anything that's going to put us in a precarious situation like provocation. So you go to a location that has demonic infestation. Once you go there and you begin to provoke by praying, you're going to get a response. And so unless you know what you're doing, unfortunately, a lot of people are doing this. They are, in fact, going to these locations and especially, on social media, and just trying to get the likes, and that's really dangerous. And for those of you, by the way, for those of you who are on TikTok, if you're going to troll, you're not going to get my attention. I don't pay attention to adults who behave like children at all. So we're adults here. So that type of immaturity is not welcomed here. You're actually going to be blocked. So for TikTok, I'm just letting you guys know, if you're going to come in here, you will not get my attention. I will completely ignore you like a pestilent little child, and you'll be put in timeout. So be an adult, be mature, and you're more than welcome here. But if you come in here and act silly, you're just going to be blocked. And that's it. Okay. Sorry, we always have to say this on TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, it's like running a kindergarten class.
It truly is. I have never seen so much emotional immaturity that I have seen from people on TikTok. I'm truly, it is so emotionally immature. There's such a disconnect between, because again, on a Saturday night, their exciting thing to do on a Saturday night is to troll other people's lives. That's really pathetic. I mean, that brings pathetic to a different low. It's like, of all the things you could do in this world, your excitement is to go to people's lives and troll. That's pretty sad. So we pray for those people.
It's very sad. They're very lost. They're very empty inside, aren't they?
No question. No question. I've said this many times before, because a person who has Christ in their heart, they don't troll other people.
Fill your hearts with the right things.
Right.
And you'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Listen to this. I want to ask you a question now. Listen, here's an article that I found. I thought, boy, I tell you what. This is by T.K. Randall. There's a app called Sesame, has released a demo of its new AI voice. It has left the internet both amazed and disturbed. Wasn't that long ago that artificial intelligence still seems like a distant futuristic technology, yet over the last few years, we've seen AI advance in leaps and bounds beyond our wildest expectations. One of the most noticeable things that has benefited from advances in AI is computer voice generation, something that was rather limited until the advent of ChatGPT. So gone are the monotone, hawking-like computer voices capable only of direct responses, to basic questions and keywords. Now we have conversational AI that feels like we're talking to a human being. Even that pales in comparison, however, to a brand new AI voice that technology firm Sesame revealed this week. Thank you. Designed to come across as authentic as possible, the AI can simulate every little nuance of human speech, sounds totally indistinguishable from a real human. So not only does it add emotion to its responses, but it can pause, use ums and ers, and you would be extremely hard pushed to tell that you were talking to a machine. Says here, at Sesame, our goal is to achieve voice presence, the magical quality that makes spoken interactions feel real, understood, and valued. This is pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys have you seen this?
I have not, but it gives me chills. Do you remember, I think it was in Terminator 2, when the evil guy that was all the liquid, he called the boy's mother and asked about the dog, Wolf, and he had the same voice as her?
Yes.
Wolfie.
This
was the incorrect name. Anyway, I made my point.
That's what's happening. Let me just let's see if I can find this. This is let's see, looks like Money Tech maybe. Let's see if I don't know if this is the one. Let me double check here. Hold on one second. Let me turn this up.
Will change everything about the economy. Well, the next frontier is voice AI, and a new player has just emerged. Our Deirdre Bosa has the details in today's Tech Check. Morning, Deirdre.
Try to see.
So voice or conversational AI, it's the most natural, efficient. Just came out.
Try to find, hold on one second. See if, there it is.
Tough one. It depends, Miles. Are we aiming for philosophical, personal, or
I'm not Miles. You're Miles.
My bad. Brain fart. Sometimes these circuits misfire. So what's the hardest question you think you could ask me then?
Yeah. You tell me. I'm asking you.
All right. You got me there.
Wow, that's an AI.
Okay, I see scams skyrocketing. Can you imagine the elderly people who could be fooled
Yes.
if AI got a hold of their child, who is, an adult child, and hey, Dad, I need 50,000.
It's
right
already
away.
being done.
I'm in
It's
big
already being
trouble."
done. It's already being done.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't like it.
so here's what's for those of you who don't know, that is already occurring right now. So if your loved one has a voice, if they've gone online, if they've ever done a show, if they've ever been online, what they can do now is take that voice, download it, and upload it to an AI voice changer. It sounds identical. And what's happening is scammers are calling loved ones and saying, "Hey, look, I need you to send money here as soon as possible. My car broke down," and they have no idea. They are not speaking to their loved one. They have no clue. And it will this whole dialogue. So here's what you got to do.
So scary.
Here's what you have to do. Make sure you have a safe word. So if and I know it sounds crazy, but you have to do it. So if your loved one calls you for money, talk to your loved one first and say, okay, the safe word is whatever it is, car or not car or rainbows or whatever it is. And then you say, okay, what's the safe word? And that's what the experts are saying that you have to do now.
Imagine this. Someone calls you. They have my sister's voice, and she says, "My car broke down. Can you come and get me?" So I drive there, and it's not her.
Yeah.
And then I am taken hostage. I see a lot of that happening. Oh, my goodness.
You have to be careful, guys. So it is insane, but that is what's going on here. And it's now, I mean, they can create an entire, basically conversation, now. And you can't tell.
Christ's words, "Do not be deceived," is a message for everything in life right now. Do not be deceived.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to finish up a couple of things here. And do you have any other questions? And then we're going to throw out some of these, and then we'll come back on about half hour, a little more, and chat with the moderators. How's that?
That's all I have until next week, Your Grace. So I will chat with you in a bit.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
bye-bye. All right, everybody. So that was our Judy Ann. She'll be here tomorrow with us for Bible study. And then we'll have the cool conversations with our moderators here momentarily. Listen to this one. This is kind of crazy. I don't know how, this is kind of weird. I don't know how to. So this is by Ben Hooper. A London comedy. I still can't understand it. A London comedy club bans audience members with frozen faces from Botox. True story. Okay. So the owner of a London comedy club announced that he is banning audience members with Botox injections after performers complain about unresponsive faces in the crowd. Mark Rothman, owner of Top Secret Comedy Club, said the business's two venues have decided not to allow patrons with Botox injections to be in the audience for comedy clubs. Anyway, he says, quote, "I've had numerous complaints from performers who find it increasingly challenging to gauge audience engagement and bounce off their reactions." Rothman said in a news release, "Comedy thrives on connection, and facial expressions play a huge part. We want people to laugh, cry, frown, sneer, but frozen faces from Botox impact the entire atmosphere." So Rothman said audience members will be... Come on. Rothman said audience members will be submitted to an expression check at the front door to ensure their faces are able to move before being admitted. Says, "We hope trialing this ban will help move the needle and get facial reactions back into the room for the benefit of our comedians and the audience," he said. Folks, this is a true story. This is a true story. So apparently there are comedians who are getting upset because when they tell their little jokes, people are, ha ha ha, that was so funny. That is just crazy. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. So, with all due respect, who has money for Botox anyway? Botox is not cheap. And I know. So I tried Botox for my migraines. Didn't do anything. Did nothing. Did nothing whatsoever for my migraines. Did not help me at all. And it hurt. It hurt because they actually injected all the way back. And it hurt. I mean, all the way back from here to the top, to the crown here. I mean, it was painful. But it didn't do anything. It absolutely. And I even told him, I said, "Do you think you could do some Botox with this frown right here?" No. But I mean, who has? It's expensive. They're like what, $400 or $500 just for a session. That's insane. Yeah. Well, understand though. Let me just say this: Botox has been very, very good for people who have migraines. They don't do anything for me because my migraines are a result from concussions that I had when playing football. So from my perspective, it doesn't do anything at all. But for somebody who doesn't have migraines because of football injury, it might be wonderful. Now, my sister Jennifer, she gets them. She loves them. She absolutely 100% acknowledges them. So no, Mikey. So for those of you who keep asking about the USOCC, all you got to do is go to usocc.org. The Roman Catholic Church acknowledges our orders. And matter of fact, it says in Article Dominus Jesus, that's written by St. Pope John Paul and Benedict, that says any church that has apostolic succession is considered validly Catholic. All the answers are there. And the moderators have told you multiple times to go to usocc.org. Okay. Antarctica is an interesting place that very, very few people in this world have truly ever gone to. I think it would be interesting to go, but for those of you who don't know, TK Randall writes this: a remote Antarctic base staff sends a plea for help due to a disturbed colleague. So this is an email sent from the base, describes a, quote, threat from within the form of a staff member who threatened to unalive another. It says here in the article, it almost sounds like something from classic science fiction horror, The Thing, but the circumstances surrounding a recent cry for help from the staff on the remote Antarctic research facility appear to be very much the real deal. Situated 100 miles south of Antarctica's ice shelf, the facility, which is manned by a 10-man South African research team, is about as remote as it gets. To make matters worse, the Antarctic weather is about to close in, and the current team stationed there is not due to be rotated until late December. That's a long time from now. I mean, and this was just recently written. Anyway, the alarm was raised recently when an email was sent calling for immediate action due to a member of the team who had been acting in a hostile and threatening manner. Regrettably, his behavior has escalated to a point that is deeply disturbing, the email says. Specifically, he physically assaulted someone, which is a grave violation of personal safety and workplace norms. Furthermore, he threatened to unalive someone, creating an environment of fear and intimidation. Anyway, it says it is imperative that immediate action is taken to assure the safety of all employees. And authorities in South Africa are now understood to be weighing up options. See, that's the thing. It's not like you can just hop on a Southwest plane. Quote, it says a full investigation is currently being commissioned and the department will act accordingly in relation to any wrong conduct against any official that has misconducted themselves. Anyway, certainly being trapped in a remote Antarctic base with someone who you think might attack you at any moment must be a harrowing experience, to say the least. So right now they're just kind of waiting to see what they're going to do. That's pretty frightening. Antarctica is pretty remote. And because of that, there's some people who just can't handle it. They just cannot handle it. So that would be pretty frightening. Okay. Now, in Argentina, not Antarctica, in Argentina, okay, there's a difference between praying to Mary as in praying to Mary to like praying to God, which we do not do. It's called intercessory prayers. In the same manner that you ask me to pray for you, we ask Mary to pray for us. That's it. Mary can't save you. She's not God. She can't. She's not a co-redemptress, and the Catholic Church doesn't teach that. So, okay, Dave, let me just make this very clear to you. One thing we're not going to tolerate is people attacking other people's faith. And I'm very aware with catechism. I studied in the Roman Catholic priesthood. I went to graduate school, and I have a doctorate and 3 masters. I'm fully aware of what the catechism says. But the catechism also says that Mary is not a co-redemptress. Did you read that part? Probably not. And that anyone who obviously prays to Mary as if they were praying to God is committing a grave sin. You probably didn't read that part either. So while we venerate and honor Mary, we do not worship Mary. So we ask Mary to pray for us, just as you ask people to pray for you. And it's interesting. I've said this before. I'm absolutely convinced that when I see Jesus face to face, he won't get angry that I honored and loved and adored his mom. But for those of you that continue to try to discredit Mary and disrespect her, maybe Jesus will have a different perspective when you see him face to face. Now, okay. Always attacking Mary. It's interesting. Demons do that too. Yeah. All right. This is an interesting article here. This is by T.K. Randall as well. A strange video shows a shadowy 4-legged creature in Argentina. It's interesting, isn't it? There's a clip out of Buenos Aires this week sparked rumors of demons and other wild and weirdness. The short and blurry clip has been doing the rounds on social media recently, shows what appears to be a street or garden in Argentina where a strange dark-colored creature can be seen shuffling toward the camera on all fours while several dogs wander about in the background. The creature, whatever it is, seems to be disproportionately long limbs, but it is pretty much impossible to make out any details. That's true. And according to local reports of the area, the sighting occurred in the town of Saladillo, where residents are said to have been consumed by fear over the creature's presence. Witnesses have described it as demonic with inhuman agility that enables it to climb walls and jump between trees. One local fire officer, who wished to remain anonymous, maintained that something was going on. He says he's something big, and another witness said he doesn't walk on all fours, he walks backwards, he's disjointed, he comes apart. His head is upside down while his body moves in an impossible way. So if you want to, you can check that out. It's pretty interesting. But it's in Buenos Aires. It's a strange video, shadowy 4-legged creature in Argentina. If you have not checked that out, you might want to look at it. It is kind of strange. I don't know if you guys seen that. No, Michael. So a lot of people talk about the Euphrates River has dried up. That is incorrect. The Euphrates River has not dried up. The Euphrates River is drying up. And the latest that I read from the official statement, basically they think probably around 2035. But no, it's not dried up. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully that answers the question. And a lot of people think so. Yeah, probably the skinwalker. There are a lot of people who think that could be, in fact, a skinwalker. And keep in mind, in about 20 minutes or so, we're going to close out on Facebook, YouTube, and all that other stuff, and we're going to go only on TikTok, and we're going to bring you guys up, and the moderators are going to come up. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can certainly chat with us. That'd be fine. All right. Yeah, we certainly don't want to worship angels. That's and actually Paul talks about that in Colossians, in chapter 2, verse 18. Because the problem with Gnosticism is certainly in Paul's time, elevated angels to that of a deity status. And that's a big no-no because they're not. So we should not, under any because remember, angels always direct their worship to God. And we see that in Revelation 19. So we should never, ever worship angels because they are not to be worshiped. Only God. But they're depicted as messengers. We see this in Luke and Psalm 91 and Isaiah and throughout Scripture. Okay. There's a couple other. This is an interesting. I want to share this with you and see what you think about this. How do I join your PG? I don't understand. PG? I don't know what that means. Okay. This is a article, and it is from The Conversation. It was published not too long ago. The author is Helen Hall. Page group, you just go to usocc.org, and you'll see right there where it says to become a member or become a parishioner. Just click here. Just click on the picture. So, okay. There is a movie, for those of you who don't know, called The Exorcist Believer. And there is a priest who said the film is potentially dangerous. And again, this is by Helen Hall. It says no one who watches The Exorcist Believer could claim that they didn't get what they expected when they bought their ticket. Well, two children experiment with the cult and inadvertently open the door to demonic forces and rapidly overwhelm them. They disappear for several days, and when they are eventually found, they display erratic behavior that rapidly escalates to uncontrollable violence. Their parents seek to discover the cause, etc. Well, it says here, it is striking that that these elements mirror what was presented to the audience in the 1970s in the first Exorcist film, a priest undergoing crisis of faith, etc. Well, there are some aspects of The Exorcist Believer that do reflect its 21st century context, however. A team of exorcists who battle the demon are drawn from a variety of religious backgrounds, act together in a common cause. So, the dangers. The term exorcism can be appropriately used to describe rituals from many global traditions, the article says, if it is defined as a practice that aims to free a person, place, or object from negative spiritual influence. However, this very general category contains hugely diverse ideas. There is immense breadth in both underpinning belief systems and also the means used to expel the malevolent spirit. So this priest says that watching this type of movie can be dangerous because it can be influential, especially to children. I would absolutely agree. I don't think that children should be watching these type of movies at all. And I have found too that movies that portray dangerous activity, that young kids can be easily influenced to do this, and they don't know what they're doing. For example, whether it playing with the Ouija board or doing the seances. And unfortunately, several cases have come about because people watched a movie or something of this nature and they thought it was completely innocent, and they found out that it wasn't. I will not watch any movie that has any type of incantations, summoning demons. There's nothing about that I want to watch, and I don't. Nor do I don't think you should either, but that's just entirely up to you. I just think it's very, very dangerous. And so I would encourage people to stay away from it. But again, if people want to, that's their right. I just don't think it's a good idea. So. You guys have a paved road to go to heaven, huh? Now for all sinners, we're all sinners. No one has a paved road to heaven. Okay. See if you think about this. Interesting. T.K. Randall writes this: a paranormal encounters may prove beneficial for grieving pet owners. There's a new research has highlighted how perceived contact with the deceased pet can have therapeutic benefits. To conduct the study, Jennifer Goldbeck an affiliate professor of computer science at the University of Maryland, ventured onto social media and asked users, if you have lost a dog, have you had any experience like seeing their ghost, receiving a sign? Did they communicate with you? I can tell you 100% mine did. No ifs, ands, or buts. Fuzzy, who was my schnauzer, and I loved him dearly, and Kylie. And I talked about this before. Fuzzy had this routine. Every time before he would sit down, he wouldn't sit down, he'd plop. But he would do 3 circles. 1, 2. And it was a weird way he did the circles, like 1 and 2 and 3 and plop. And I remember not long after, he crossed that rainbow bridge due to old age and cancer. It wasn't that long afterwards that I was sitting on the couch and I absolutely felt the 1, 2, and 3 and plop. And it was just Fuzzy letting me know that he's there. So so this professor, her goal was to get an idea of the types of paranormal encounters reported by owners who had lost their dogs, as well as those experiences that might mean to them. And it comes to your dreams, yeah. So by far, the most common types of paranormal experience reported, with 37% of the vote, was audible phenomena such as the hearing the dog barking, or the sounds of its paws. I've heard this a lot. The sound of its paws walking across the floor. Well, you just know, Kathy. You just know if you're at peace, Kathy. If you're at peace with that, whatever decision you know. So anyway, quite a few people also reported actual sightings of their dogs, sensing their dog's presence, and seeing the dog in dreams, or even feeling as though their dog was lying in the bed next to them. Some also believe that their dog had visited them in dreams or even moved objects in their home. And overall, the vast majority, 76% of respondents, reported that it had been a positive experience and that the encounter had brought them reassurance and a sense of comfort. That's pretty cool. I mean, I would think so too. I'm absolutely convinced that our fur babies will be in heaven. 100%. I'm a firm believer in that. And so, but a lot of people have experienced this. A lot of people. You guys experience that? Yeah, sure, Kathy. This is a weird story. I don't know about this one. Oh, that's very cool. We just subscribed to you. Okay, well, thank you, Angela. Thank you. Yeah, you just subscribed. Is that what you're saying? Well, thank you for subscribing. This is interesting. Big Macs are okay. I think they're good. But T.K. Randall writes this. I don't know about this one. A man holds a bizarre record for most number of Big Macs eaten in a lifetime. Anyway, the Guinness World Records has officially confirmed the outrageous number of McDonald's burgers one man has eaten. Listen to this. This is insane. Most doctors and nutritionists would likely recommend eating against too many burgers, but that hasn't stopped Donald Gorski, I think. That's a 71-year-old from Wisconsin who has eaten 2 Big Macs every day of his life since 1972. This is a true story. This man has eaten 2 Big Macs every single day of his life since 1972. He first earned the world record for the most Big Macs eaten back in 1999, continued to maintain that record ever since. It is believed that he has now eaten, get this, listen. It is now believed that he has now eaten more than 35,000 Big Macs. Bizarrely, he even tried collecting all the empty containers in his attic, but quickly ran out of space back in 2006, and now stacks them up to the ceiling in his basement. One advantage of his strange diet is that he doesn't need to cook anything. He and his wife have a cooker in their house that looks practically brand new, as if it's barely even been used for 50 years. Well, yeah, if you're eating 2 Big Macs a day. Incredibly, Gorski doesn't seem to have suffered, and this was even more interesting. He doesn't seem to have suffered any ill effects at all. and maintains that he still has normal blood pressure and cholesterol levels. How is this possible? I mean, I guess so. He has normal blood pressure. His cholesterol levels are fine, and he's eating 2 Big Macs every day since 1972. Says, quote, for somebody to want to do that, you're going to have to eat Big Macs for 50 years, and you're going to have to really like Big Macs, he said. It's such an easy thing for me to do because I already do it every day. Can you imagine this? No, and that's the thing. You would think that he would really be morbidly obese. He's not. He's not at all. And this is it's kind of strange. So yeah, I saw a picture of him just the other day, and he's not morbidly obese. So I don't know. It must be nice. I mean, 2 Big Macs every single day. Well, I don't know. I don't like Big Macs that much. That's kind of ugh. So it says eating an average of 600 a year. 600. Oh gosh. But yeah, I mean, he has a tiny small belly, but no, he's not morbidly obese. So if you can figure that out, there we go. But I kind of weird to me. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Over 6. Wait, 2. So you got 2 every single day of his life. And, you got 2 every day. That's pretty rough. Okay. We don't really need to do this one. This one's kind of boring. All right. If you guys have questions, I'll entertain them for a little bit, and then we're going to bring the moderators up here in about 10 minutes or so. Right. Yeah. I don't know about this one. I'm kind of curious to see what your thoughts are on this. So this article says here, tell me what you think about this. It says here, TK Randall writes, every question is the Estes method's dangerous. It is. It is. So the Estes method it's a very interesting. It is a very interesting method for those of you who are in paranormal investigators. It basically removes the senses, and people have really gotten overwhelmed, especially with demonic cases. That is really dangerous. When you're working a demonic case and you're using this method. Okay, for those of you who don't know, it's the Estes method. It's a unique method. It's in the field of paranormal investigation. It's a facilitate to communication. It was developed by a group of researchers in Estes Park, Colorado, which is now, of course, the Stanley Hotel, known as that. So basically, here's how it works. So you have a spirit box, and that's a device that rapidly scans through radio frequencies, creating like a mix of white noise and fleeting radio snippets. And then, of course, you have headsets on. It's a closed noise canceling headsets. You got to have that because then you're not influenced by ambient sounds. And then you're blindfolded. Now, sometimes you're blindfolded. Sometimes you have something over your eyes besides the blindfold and the blindfold to increase sensory deprivation. All right. So what happens with the Estes method is a participant is selected to wear the headphones, connected to the spirit box. And the person is often isolated from like other investigators to ensure they can't hear anybody else talk. That's why you have noise canceling headsets. And the spirit box continuously scans the radio stations, and the isolated participants listen to the outputs without even knowing what the questions are being posed. And the rest of the team then arranges a separate location, and they take turns asking questions. And so the isolated person then relay any like words that they clearly hear. So the objective of the Estes method is to capture, relevant responses. And they may not understand why they're saying these things, but it basically deprives you of all of your senses except for hearing, so that it alienates everyone. And you just tell basically what it is that you're hearing. So that's dangerous, especially working demonic cases. And you got to be, I always tell people, you got to be very careful with this. And people don't like me saying that, but I'm not going to lie about it. It's dangerous. Yeah. Now, I have used the Estes method. Matter of fact, when I was at the when I was at Ghost Adventures, when we at Bobby's Mackey, when we did the investigation, I think it was like the second episode. I think it was the second episode. Earlier that day, I did the Estes method with the guys, and that's when there were things coming through that was really emotional, challenging for the guys. I had no idea why it was saying certain things. They're like, why is it saying this? Why is it saying that? But the guys understood it, and it affected them greatly. So I would be very cautious about that. Okay. Yes, it did. In new stuff. Yeah. The Estes method, ESTES method. So TK Randall writes this, and tell me, well, because you're a conduit, and because you're a conduit, a demonic could be using you to pass along information or to another individual. And the problem with this is it creates incredible vulnerability. Because there's a term in demonology, there's a term in demonology called retrocognition. And your retrocognition means a demon can say the sins of an individual. So this is why exorcists, we always go through the sacrament of reconciliation, confession, prior to performing an exorcism, because we take that ability away from the demonic. What happens is paranormal investigators don't do this. And then they go to a location that's known to be demonic. And then the demonic will say some things that are quite personal and private to one of the investigators there. And it can be incredibly detrimental to them, especially if they're not prepared for it. But this is an article. Tell me what you think about this. Everyone has psychic abilities. The controversial new study suggests. The question of whether or not psychic abilities exist has remained a point of contention for years. While concrete evidence of abilities such as telepathy, telekinesis, clairvoyance continues to remain elusive, some people are absolutely convinced that such abilities really do exist. Well, there have been scientific studies into the phenomenon. Enter Dr. Morris Friedman, Canadian researcher who has headed up a recent study which alleges to have discovered the part of the brain responsible for inhibiting psychic abilities. This, of course, is quite a claim, given the existence of such ability remains unproven. However, according to the study, all humans may possess innate psychic abilities. To investigate further, Dr. Friedman and his colleagues use a technique known as repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation, RTMS, to temporarily alter the brain activity of volunteers using magnetic pulses. So this, according to the study, helped the team identify an area of the brain responsible for inhibiting psychic abilities, and even enabled volunteers to influence a random number generator. It says these findings are potentially transformative for the way we view interactions between the brain and seemingly random events, Dr. Friedman said. But could this really be proof that psychic abilities are the real deal? Well, we don't know. So this is an interesting read. It's an interesting investigation and study. But again, if you want to do your own research on it, Dr. Morris Friedman, Freedman. He's a Canadian researcher. There we go. We simply don't know. But it is pretty fascinating if you think about it. Okay. We're going to close out on our podcast show because we're going to get ready to jump on over to TikTok. So, folks, I want to remind you guys that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do have our Mass. And so if you want to join us for Mass, you're certainly welcome. Sorry, trolls, we turned the chat off so you won't be entertained. But for the rest of you who would like to, join us and who are adults, you're certainly more than welcome. We would love for you to do that and chat with us. So, and then of course, we also have, let me just do this. I'm trying to put this up. So that way you guys can look at it or listen to this later. This is podcasted. All the presentations except for night prayers podcasted. You can go to bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down to where it says official social media links. And then you find Spreaker. And it's there for you. So if you are not head on over, for those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all that other stuff, head on over to TikTok. We're going to bring the moderators up, and then the guests can come up and we can all chat with one another. I wish I could do it with you guys, but you guys won't be able to hear or see them. That's why I have to do it this way. So please join us. Remember, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You're priceless, and don't let any troll tell you or convince you otherwise. So come on over. If we don't see you there, then we'll see you hopefully tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TikTok only for Mass, but 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bible study for everybody. Okay, everybody, have a great night, and come on over. It'll be pretty cool. We'll see you over there.